Hello everyone, greetings of the day. Welcome to my project presentation video for Skill Development Lab. Let me introduce myself. I am Akshay Kumar Verma, BTech third year student in semester 5 and Computer Science Engineering Department at Sri Govindaram Seksariya Institute of Technology and Science Indore. What this project is all about. It is about understanding the impact of newly added and deleted voters on election results. The problem statement is about to analyze the impact of newly added and deleted voters on the election results of the 2023 assembly election held in Madhya Pradesh by comparing the booth level voting data from the 2023 election with the previous 5 elections and incorporating data on voter addition and deletions. Aim is to understand how changes in voter demographic influences the electoral outcome. Let me explain this project in with three very simple steps. First, what we are trying to do. So we are trying to find out how adding new voters and removing old voters affect the results of election. This time specifically, we are looking at the 2023 Assembly election of Madhya Pradesh. Why this project matters. So the elections are influenced by many factors, and changes in the voter list can also have a big impact. By studying these changes, we can understand how they might affect who wins or loses in different area or a specific constituency. How we are going to do it? Let's so moving further with how we will be doing this thing. The first step in it is of data collection. We will be requiring three major data sets over here. But the first data set which we will require is the booth level votes for general election 2023. The second data set is for booth level votes of previous election, and thirdly, the last data set for newly added and deleted voters. The third data set we will be getting from the voter list, and rest two data sets we will be getting from the election results. And all of these three data sets are available on the sites of ECI, that is Election Commission of India. Let me show you the site of ECI from where we will be taking data. So this is the site of Chief Electoral Officer of Madhya Pradesh coming under Election Commission of India. From here we will be taking our data. The third data set of voter list will be getting from here. Electoral roll of general electors. Here we need to enter the district for which we need data, like if say Alirajpur, and after writing the captcha over here and selecting assembly, after submitting we will be getting data of the voter list, and from it we will be extracting the newly added and deleted voters. The for first two data set we will need to go here in general election 2023 tab. Over here you need to download form 20 by selecting the district which we want, let's say Bhopal. Secondly, the assembly which we need to see, let's say Bhopal Uttar. And after clicking on Open Form 20, we will be getting data for our first two data set in this way. So this is the data, and these are the booth IDs which are very important for our project. And for rest of the election also we will be getting data from here, like general election 2019, 2018, and previously held assembly elections. So here data for assembly election 2008 till here the data is available, and rest the data is available in the form of statistical report till year 1951. So in this way we will be collecting our data for our project. So as the data collection is done, moving on our second step, that is analysis of data. So in analysis, we will be comparing the votes of 2023 with the last 5 year election, that is of 2018, 2013, 2008, and two of 2003. And we will try to analyze the data on new and removed voters to see if these changes might explain any differences in the election results. After analysis of data, we will be moving on our third stage, that is of tech stack requirements. The tech stack we required are first HTML, CSS, and React for front end, which also includes JavaScript. For backend of our project, we will be using Flask and Node.js. Thirdly, for database, we will be needing MySQL Server. So these were the tech stack requirements for our project. Moving on with the first very major step of this project, which is data pre-processing and database creation. So let me show you my database, how I pre-process the data which I show you, and how the database was created. So this is the MySQL interface in which the data was inserted manually by me, because the data which I was getting from the site was majorly in the form of a scanned image in the OCR format, or some of the data was also in Excel format. So I extracted them and manually inserted in this format by removing all the null values, and in this way the tables were created which are being listed over here. Our database name is vote info, and which includes all these tables: the booth votes of 2003, 2008, 2013, 18, and 2023. And voter changes 2023 table includes the newly added and deleted voters. Let me show you the tables one by one. So in this way, it includes data. Here, the booth IDs are being listed: Party A votes, Party B votes, and the independent votes which they got. Secondly, the table for 2008, 2013, and so on for 2018 and 23 is also same, only the data inside it is different. Let me show you the voter changes 2003 table. So in this way, it includes the booth ID and respective newly added voters to that particular booth, and the deleted voters from that booth. And in this way, 2008, 2013, 18 also have the same table with different data. And this is 2023 data I am showing. So in this way, the database, namely vote info, was created after pre-processing of the data. So moving further from data pre-processing and database creation part, we understood about the database, how it's created in my project. The another part and very important part of the project is code overview part. So first, let's see the code for front end. So this is my front end code. This is basically a React application. This front end is made using React application. The current window which you are showing, which you are seeing, is of app.jsx file. This is the file where all the routes of the project is being set up. There are majorly four pages. First is home page, customer login page, registration page, and an analysis page. The routes for these are being over here, and its CSS properties are being defined in app.css file. If we go up over here, so this is a navbar.jsx file. This project contains a very basic navbar in which you have the project name, that is election meter, a login button, and a registration button, and the CSS properties for which are being defined over here, from logo to image and all the stuff which it has. Going further, this is the customer login page. So it's a basic form which asks you for email, text, in text as a name, login fields, and password to enter for further login. The two main pages for this project are: one is homepage.jsx file, and another one is analysis.page.jsx file. So we will talk about homepage.jsx file. So it's a main landing page of the project, which include the heading for the project, that is it's a election result analysis project. Second is welcome to the election result analysis tool. So it defines what the site is all about. Then I have hosted a card over here, by clicking which you will be going to on analysis page. The homepage.css file contains all the CSS property related to the homepage. And further moving on, analysis page.jsx. So this is the main file of our project where all the data is being fetched out from the backend. So let me show you. These are the API calls which I have made to fetch the data from backend. Here the data is being combined, and here also the voter change, that is newly added and deleted votes data is being combined. Then they are plotted in a line chart data. It's a line chart, and second one is bar chart, set bar chart data. Here the file which we are importing to plot this is a chart.js file, which is helping us to plot the data in line chart and bar chart. If we go down, so here set analysis function is being written. Whatever the analysis is there, it basically describes after plotting both the graphs. So this was our JavaScript portion. And here it's our HTML portion. So first it gives us the heading, the booth analysis. Then it asks us for a booth ID, means something which we enters in number from 1 to whatever a booth number are actually present. And on the basis of that booth number which we gives, the data is being fetched from backend, and line chart and bar chart is being plotted, and its CSS properties are defined over here in analysis page.css. So this was all about the important part about my front end code. This was the code overview for front end. Moving next is the code overview for backend. So let's see the code overview for it. Now this is my code overview for backend. This is constructed. This is made using a Flask backend, and my MySQL is being used here as a database connection. So the first line from Flask, import Flask, this is used to declare, or should say to start a Flask project. Second line, import MySQL.connector. So this is a connector which is used to connect this Flask app with the MySQL database. App equals to Flask name starts the Flask app. Then DB config. So this is a part where you define your MySQL information, your username, your password, the host, and the database name, which is both info over here. This define get DB connection. This connects the database and the Flask app. Next defines are or like next define all are the APIs which I have created. So the API where both votes and year is written is the API which fetches the votes of particular years from the database. So this is for both votes 2023, this is for 2018, 2013, 2008, 2003, and where the API it's written like voter changes 2023, they fetches the data of newly added and deleted voters from the backend. So it's also for like 2023 to 2003, all the APIs are being defined over here. Let us deep dive into one API, understand what actually is going on. So let me explain you the API of uh, 2023 booth boards. So a route is being set up over here, and a method get method is called. So first con equals to get DB connection. This setups our connection with the database. Then cursor is defined. So cursor is basically used to execute SQL query. Like here, select all from booth boards 2023. Means we are selecting all the data available in that particular table present in the database. So it fetches all the data and stores it into the data variable. Next is to close a cursor and to close a connection of the database. Now, whatever the data which is being fetched based on the both ID which we get is written in a JSONify object. Similarly, all the APIs of both votes are defined for different years. Secondly, if we go for voter changes API, so those are also defined in the same fashion. First connection with the database, then cursor is defined which execute this particular query now from table, namely voter changes and particular year. It fetches the data and the data is being returned. If we move down at the last part of the code, so this is the main block of our code. This main block, which basically tells that the script is being directly executed or not. And in the last time, app.run port equals to 3000 runs our script at our localhost port 3000. So this was all about the backend code and the backend code overview. So this was the code overview for backend. Moving to the next part, which is web application demo. So here I will be showing you the demo of the application, which is created using the integrating front end and backend both. So moving to for it. So this is my web application, which I named election meter. This is the home page, or should say the landing page for it. And here you can see that the heading election result analysis project. This is the name of my project, and below here in 3 to 4 lines the description of the project is being given. So the background image is set up was of map of India showing to vote, as it's very important to vote in a democratic country like India. And here I have set up a card which will take you to the next page, that is analysis page. So by clicking it, we will go to the next page. So this is the analysis page, a very simple analysis page made by me. Here you just only need to enter the booth ID, and on the basis of that particular booth ID, the data will be fetched from the backend. So let's say we will be entering 4 over here and try to fetch it. It will take a time, and here the data is being fetched. So the data which was fetched is plotted into two types of chart. One is line chart, second one is the bar chart, and the third one, the chart third is about the analysis what we are getting from these charts. So let me explain you these charts, what all they are about. So on the x-axis of these charts is the year, on the election year 2023, 2018, 2013, 2008, and 2003, and y-axis denotes the number of votes a particular party get. Here the green lines, this indicates party A votes, the purplish line indicates party B votes, and the orange for independents, which are almost negligible for this booth. And this second chart is for the newly added and deleted voters for each year. This blue bar is for newly added, and the pink bar is for the deleted voter. X-axis shows the same voting year, and y-axis the number of people added or deleted. Let me go through to this chart in more detail, that what analysis we can get from it. These are the nodes, and when you hover on these nodes, you will getting more insights about that particular party in that year. Like in 2003, party A got 285 votes, and the newly added voters were 130, and the deleted voters were 28. Similarly, in a B party, we see 150 voters, 130 voters were added and 28 deleted, and the party got 150 votes. Now we will see here where there is a spike. So we'll compare 2008 and 2013. We can see the newly added voters are sure increased, and so the pattern of, I should say, the vote which is gained by party A also increased, but it does not directly show any trend that it is being affected by the newly added voters, because in for party B it also increases. Now we will compare 2013 with 2018. So the newly added voters here were 140 and here it's 150. So newly added voters are being increased, but the votes for party A is decreased to 201, while the party B increased to 469. So it's showing something has happened over here, but this is not like by taking just 2 point we can't say any analysis about the project. So moving further, if we see 2013 and 2018, so we can see that the voters are increased in a very good number. See here, it's 140 over here to 180 here, means 180 more voters were increased. So you can say the vote fashion also increased for the party B, and for party A it's almost on a degrading ground. So we can infer that increase in voter impacted the vote percentage, or should say the vote gained by party B. But this is on a very basic or very narrowish ground. We will require more data to just directly say this. So the analysis so far tells us that yes, in some way, the newly added voters or the deleted voters can affect the result of particular booth. So this was all about this line chart for booth ID number 4 or booth number 4. And here the analysis which you can see writes that the analysis of the data show that the impact of newly added and deleted voters varies across the year. For instance, in this particular in a year with a significant number of newly added voters, there is a noticeable increase in the vote of certain parties, which is party B over here. And conversely, years with a high number of deleted voters show a decrease in the total vote. So this indicates somewhere that the voter registration changes can have a substantial impact on the election outcomes. So this is just analysis which is done on a very narrow ground. Uh, Further moving, we can also see of some other booth. Let me enter booth number 10, and the data is being fetched. It takes some time, but the data is fetched over here, and this is some different trend you can see. The voters first increased, then decreased, then suddenly got increased. If you see 2013 and 2023, and if you will compare the vote fashion for Party B, first it decreases and then suddenly increased. While for Party A, it increased somehow and decreased suddenly in 2023. So we can't directly say anything for both 10 over here, but yeah, we can infer that somewhere the newly added voters, the deleted voters impact the result for particular election on particular booth, or should say a constituency. Let's see one more booth. So it's booth 15 data, where you can see a sharp increase in 2010 and 2023 for party B, while the newly added voters are decreased. So here it's something, some different trend you can see. So this the part of analysis you get various trends for various booths, and when you will come when this project will be scaled further, we will be getting a more accurate analysis for it. So these were all about the analysis part of my project, the must-to-have features and now nice-to-have features, and some performance-based features also I've added. That is a login page and a register page where user can register, or as a party someone can register, and then if already have account you can go here and log in. And going back to our home page, so this was the demo about the project which I made, election result analysis project, for comparing the result based on the newly added and the deleted voters. The analysis was made and it was on a narrower ground, but somewhere it infers or it tells us that the newly added and deleted voters short uh, can affect the result. So this was all about the demo of my project. Moving further with the quick overview of GitHub repository for this particular project. This is the link, a direct link for my GitHub repository for the election meter. Let's have a quick go through. So this is the GitHub repository which I have created for election meter. Here it's readme.md file, where you can find each and everything about the project, how to run it, what it's actually about, and all the related stuff. Uh, Going back, you can find all the related code which I have shown you in the previous part of video over here. This is the backend code of Flask app. You can find it over here. So this is the backend code. And if you want front end code, you can go over here in SRC And these are all the related pages which I have created. The two main pages of analysis page.jsx and homepage.jsx. Both the pages are being given over here and it's there in this repository. So this was about my repository, GitHub repository, election meter. So moving to the last some parts of this video, it's the very important part, the learning and outcomes, what we get from this project. So first it identifies the key influencer or identification of key influencer, where it means to determine how newly added and deleted voter influences election outcomes at booth level, and also to identify specific booths where voter changes had the most significant impact. Secondly, states that voter demographic insights. So we gain insights into demographics of newly added and deleted voters, understood how changes in voter demographics correlate with shift in the voting patterns. The third, which is listed over here, is visualization of voting trends. So we visualized the data with using chart.js as I spoken about it in the further part of the video. So we created visualization that highlight voting trends over multiple election cycles. We use charts, offline charts, and bar chart to illustrate the impact of voter change on the election result. The third year, the policy recommendation, an important part. So it provides the data-driven recommendation for policymaker on how to address voter registration and deletion process. It also suggests strategies to improve voter turnout and engagement based on the analysis which we got. As we did a historical comparison, like for 2023 votes with till 2003 vote, a long-term trend was identified and shift in voter behavior was analyzed and can say how external factor affected it, can also be told to the policy makers and the recommendation of new policies can be done on it. So as I developed a very basic web application, it can be scaled and public can use it in a very different ways to get the knowledge from it, or they can also support it by giving the different data or trends on which this project can be increased. So yes, web application for public use. And lastly, it also serves as an educational resource. It creates a valuable educational resource for students and researchers, those are interested in election data. And in the next slide, I will be telling about the machine learning model. So it can be taken further to that part also. To it also offer insights and methodologies that can be applied to similar projects in other regions or contexts. So these were the learning outcomes which we got, learning and outcomes. Next, moving on to the conclusion. So the what we started with was to analyze the election result on newly and deleted voters. So yeah, impact of voter change. Our analysis showed that newly added and deleted voters significantly influences election result, especially on certain booth. The analysis, the impact was way too great. So this was the conclusion of the whole video, and scope for this. So this project could be extended to cover other region and parts of countries and also of the country if some other country government take it. The primary focus for this project was to compare the 2023 election with the previous elections. However, the methodology could be adapted to include data from earlier election for a broader historical analysis. We took for 5 years. We can take if the data is available properly, then only. So the project involved merging and pre-processing multiple data set to create a comprehensive view on both level. We can get to know about voting patterns and how the vote changes. This includes cleaning, normalizing, and ensuring the compatibility of different data sources. Further, the machine model can also be applied to predict this. And I'm working on one such model. I'm applying random forest for machine learning. So yeah, it's the scope for this particular project. So that was all about from my side for this skill development lab project. Thank you very much. Thank you.